And I know that, again, I told you I was not going to address other commentators or creators, but we need to address people like Candace Owens and Andrew Tate. A bit down the road, I'm going to be talking about the red pill guys. But again, you cannot talk about the red pill guys without talking about the people who have enabled these red pill guys as well. And well, Candace Owens interviewed um, Andrew Tate at some point. I remember that Benny Johnson was brown-nosing, and Alina Habba were brown-nosing Andrew Tate a lot as well. That was odd, given that Benny Johnson has two small daughters, but that's what I tell you, that I prefer to go my own way. I work alone. I am like Batman. I work alone. And I do my best to bring you an unbiased perspective, but I need to talk about this. Candace states that Charlie's death is related to TPUSA, then tries to walk it back by adding, in some way or another, at the very least, we can all agree that this was related to him speaking at a campus event for Turning Point USA. But the problem is not this. The problem is that the minions that have been pushing Candace Owens' stuff are being sent these cease and desist letters. To my understanding, this is not a lawsuit. This is a legal threat. And again, by the way, I have to mention that I made a video back in the day about wolves and finance. They did this video in which they were checking about if Turning Point had actually filed their IRS stuff correctly, their taxes correctly, and they were these strange addresses that this guy went all over the states to find out if they were legit in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona, and it turns out it was a strip mall. I made a video about that, but speaking about his videos, I guess that I have not received any kind of cease and desist from Turning Point, and I'm pretty sure I am not going to receive anything because I am just making my observations. I am not into crazy conspiracies. Robert Burns says that you will lose. Maybe stop labeling. That would be a right approach. Let's watch this clip anyway, just in case.
He did die young. Why did he think that him dying young was necessary in order to change things? He did die young. It is related to Turning Point USA. In some way or another, at the very least, we can all agree it's related to him speaking at a campus event for Turning Point USA. I'm totally occupied by that.
By the way, she also said in another clip that I won't bother to show you. There's all everywhere. You can look for an X, look for Candace X-Men. You will find it like several times over, in which she claims that she was approached, to enter this, school for privileged or exceptional children. It was basically the plot of the X-Men, although I don't know what kind of power she had besides the power of grift at this point. And that she denied. She didn't want to do it because it seems that there was a mix between the agents of the Matrix and Professor Charles X. Xavier, which I don't understand because Professor Xavier is one of the good guys and the agents of the Matrix are the bad guys. I don't know if she's going to add some Game of Thrones or maybe some, Christopher Nolan lore for good measure. That would be entertaining. Maybe that I would watch her show if she goes that path because I love science fiction. And that's how I answer. I replied to one of her fans that way. She is making this, these points about time traveling, about agents, about, mind control. And I said, well, I am a fan of science fiction myself. So maybe I'm at a point that I can enjoy Candace Owens' show. But maybe I will give her an actual opportunity now. But this is basically what we got here. I would like to know for all the fans of Candace fans who said that she brings the receipts. What kind of receipts do we have with the agents and the X-Men stuff and all that? That would be interesting. I'm not gonna bother you with the legalese, but it sounds like they are saying that the statements you have made publicly on your YouTube podcast, this is about wolves and finance. This is not about Candace Owens. Candace was already given, the words in private by Erica and her legal team, TPUSA's legal team, when they had that meeting. And Candace understood what was going on and what was going to happen. And it turns out, by the way, I have to say that soft pivot into science fiction kind of, there are no coincidences, right? But it's kind of, it's happening as these minions are getting these cease and desist letters. That is interesting, right? You have these theories that are much more, I don't know how to say that, like out of Isaac Asimov's head, Philip K. Dick stuff. Then, yeah, here are many statements you have made publicly on your YouTube podcast about the turning point entities qualify as defamation. All right, I addressed some of the most egregious defamatory statements that you have made below, and this guy got all the explanation you have. These claims are not true. This is basically so the person, this guy, in this case, Wolves and Finance, is aware, okay, is made aware that he is basically lying for bucks, for YouTube bucks, for money, for moolah. So that is a better ground for it. If he keeps at it, then he's going to get sued for defamation, because there will be actual grounds for defamation, since he will know for a fact that he was lying, which is what we think that happened with that meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk, in the sense that Erica flew all the way to where Candace was, because you know that Candace was all this busy with this, personal matters, but Erica flew to her to set the record straight, and the attorneys, which maybe Turning Point's attorneys are not Disney great attorneys or Elon Musk attorneys, which by this point I'm pretty sure that Elon Musk attorneys are here, Disney are here, and Turning Point and around here are a league of their own. I'm pretty sure that they send a clear message to Candace. I don't know to what extent Candace has respected that. She's changing her a bit of her rhetoric. I think that worked. In one way or another. So, additionally, please contact me. I'm happy to provide you with further information to, you understand that if you keep doing this, you're going to get sued into oblivion. Please contact me before you publish anything more about any of the Turning Point entities or their finances, as I can provide you with accurate information to answer any legitimate question that you may have. That is being polite. That is, either do this, or, I don't know, you will be completely destroyed. Again, can we ask questions? You can ask questions. You can ask all the questions that you want. That is basically not forbidden. But if you imply some kind of accusations, then you can be on the grounds for defamation. That's how this works. And this is a step in case that Turning Point decides to sue. They have in better legal standing to be able to sue these guys. And this is a message. As far as I know, this was sent to just one guy. But you know how this works. You send the message to one guy, and that guy is going to make a YouTube video about that. It's going to appear on X. It's going to appear on Facebook. It's going to all these mommy sleuths on their WhatsApp groups are going to share it. Everybody's going to find out about that. So the other people who are also pushing for this content are going to think twice before they do that. And you would say, so that you are pro censorship, Jesus? No, I am pro facing consequences of what you do. That's it. Because everybody needs to face the consequences of your actions. You are free to act whatever you like. You're free to have a YouTube channel and spew X-Men conspiracies and Egyptian planes and, I don't know, tax evasion schemes on whatever you want, but you have to face the consequences of that. Maybe there will be no consequences and you will be okay. But if there are, then you should face them as, as a man or as a woman, a developed, grown-up, as a grown-up man or woman. Graham Allen, look at Turning Point USA sending cease and desist letters to people who have been lying for months about Charlie's death is justified. Candace Owens sucked all the gullible people in and will now hang them out to dry. I wonder if she will be donating to help with legal fees. I don't know. I think that she is still asking for donation for her security team, I guess, to defend herself against Lex Luthor, against Thanos. Thanos, that's going to be a tough one. Maybe defend herself against, I don't know, Los Pollos Hermanos. I remember Breaking Bad. Gus Fring. She has to defend herself. Gus Fring is after Candace Owens as well. He was not dead. He never died. Oh my God. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, just spoil that. But Gus Fring did not die. He is after Candace right now. I don't know, but I do know of, and I do know that Los Pollos Hermanos has great chicken. Great chicken. I see some Candace fans, again, you have all the right in the world to be fan of whatever you like. Again, I like science fiction as well. I'm kind of a science fiction reader myself, as Norman Osborn would kind of say. But Insurrection Barbie did this nice video. I don't know if I can play this. I'm going to make sure that I can play this. I don't know if this has music, but just in case, I'm going to do my AI voice isolation magic here and play this.
It is very tempting to engage in, let's just say, deep internet theories that quite honestly are rooted in lunacy.
Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist. They are trying to use psychology to make their religion the religion of the world.
And we see this with the Jew hatred, where people think that they're onto something, but in reality, they're not.
The nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists.
This particular affliction blames the Jews for everything.
Every time they mention the Jews, take a shot of vodka. I found out about a very interesting version of chess the other day. Chess, as in you have the board, the chess board, and the pieces are small shots. The pawns are these small shots of, softer liquor, spirits, and the more important the piece is, the harder the liquor is. As in the rooks. The rooks have this very strong. So if you capture a piece, then you have to drink the one. So it's very interesting, because the more pieces you capture, the more slush you become. So you basically become Kamala Harris playing chess. So I was thinking about a game that every time somebody blames the Jews, we take a shot of, I don't know, vodka or something. That would be that we're gonna have, I don't know, liver failure in around 15 minutes.
Drugs, prostitution, sex pornography. We Jews love pornography.
You're going out of your way to try to create this big web of connections. It's the Jews, and it's the Jews, and it's the Jews.
Who is in control of the White House? And Nick Fuentes wrote a one-word response: Jews.
You want to talk about low IQ, blaming an entire group for all of your problems.
These 6 individuals that I am showing you were the most murderous of those individuals. The majority of them were Jews.
Anyone with a decent moral compass should reject the scapegoating of Jews.
Jewish people were the ones that were
we need a
us.
bell.
Jewish people were in control of the slave trade.
Your obsession with this group of people is so unhealthy.
Where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? Who created those gulag systems? The majority of them were Jewish men.
You
The synagogue of Satan.
The synagogue
of Satan.
This is a synagogue of Satan, powerful group of elites.
The Israeli government does not do everything right, but they're not to blame for all of the world's ills either.
It was just convenient for Israel that
JFK got shot. It was convenient for Israel, by the way, when the towers went down.
Israel did 9/11 is a rather anti-Semitic thing to say.
The Israelis that were working at the World Trade Center who were forewarned of the attack.
Anti-Semitism is literally a brain rot that stops your ability to think independently.
Jewish people.
Jewish men, they are Jewish Jews. Jews.
And instead of pointing at a small group of people and engaging in this brain rot, become a better person. You'll be a happier and healthier, more joyful and productive person because of it.
Liver failure. This was made, in fact, by on Instagram by HIL's Fold. I don't know, but follow them. I don't know if they were the original creators, maybe not. They share that, so they deserve recognition. Candace Owens' podcast plummets from global lead as anti-Semitism controversies take a toll. I don't think that was the anti-Semitism. I think because the theories are more and more insane. So, I mean, she has to keep raising the bar, and that comes increasingly more and more difficult. And now, the female who tried to run a race hostile lawsuit with the NAACP and doxed conservatives during Gamergate wants pick me money to consult with an organization that clearly pushed her out for clearly good reasons. So she said that, it's like Brita, big shout out to Brita. Candace, Turning Point USA is corrupt to the core. Also, Candace, Erica, hire me. How does this work? I again offer my consulting services to Turning Point USA. For a monthly retainer, we can end this corporate shit show. Again, can you imagine? Yours truly, I'm gonna switch my personality right now. I am not the body language guy now. I'm the Royal Rogue, and so I used to do that with the body language guy channel as well. Offering Meghan Markle and Archwell philanthropies to work for them. Would that make sense to you? That wouldn't make sense, right? I sometimes joke about that. Meghan could hire me, but she cannot because I am too expensive. I say that all the time. And then people are going to say, you're not understanding, Jesus, this is a joke. You can't, don't you have humor? Can't you understand a joke? I sincerely, the idea of satire is being able to address facts and serious stuff and address the jokes and the satirical part and be able to present them to the public in a way that the public can understand. Even people that have trouble understanding, maybe humor, that lack a sense of humor. The idea is in your writing or in your speaking or in your posting on social media for people to understand when you're being sarcastic, which nowadays is going to be a bit, a bit more difficult. But as far as I know, Candace is not known for being a satirist or any of the sort. She makes this high stakes game of everything from aliens to Jews, from Jews in spaceships with this huge laser pointed out and being replicated by Egyptian planes, and people going to trap doors right next to Charlie Kirk. I don't know. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired about that. So yeah, it's, again, you can say whatever you want, but if you're going to joke about something, you have to make sure that people understand that you're joking, that you are, the hyperbole works. But again, I guess that I'm going to say this. I don't want to be harsh, but I don't think that Candace considers that her audience, her capture audience, is capable of, juggling both things at the same time, the serious stuff and the satirical stuff, because that takes some level of IQ. So she just stays with the high stakes things and she stays in there. So I think that she is accommodating to her audience, to her captured audience, that she looked for that audience in the first place, and she is being pulled by that same audience in every show. So I guess it's a win-win, I guess. But I would love to know what you think about this in the comments.